Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 940 on the East Coast and 640 on the West Coast. Do want to remind you here that we will have live coverage of Pope Leo XIV's papal inauguration that is set for very early tomorrow morning. It is going to be live at 4 a.m. Eastern time, and we will be live with an hour of coverage ahead of that starting at 3 a.m. And if you're not able to get up that early, don't worry, because we will have a replay at 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can watch it all right here on Live Now from Fox. Now, the new Pope's French-sounding name, Prevost, intrigued Jari Honora. He's a New Orleans genealogist who began digging in the archives and discovered the Pope had some deep roots over in the Big Easy. All four of the Pope's maternal great-grandparents were, quote, free people of color in Louisiana based on 19th century census records. I did want to bring in Honore here. Now, he is a family historian at the Historic New Orleans Collection to discuss all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and discuss it.
Thank you, John, for having me.
And first off, I do want to ask you overall if you can break down the Creole background here and what you were able to learn about the Pope.
Well, we were able to learn that the Holy Father's mother's family is deeply, deeply rooted here in New Orleans and in South Louisiana. As has been reported, his mother was the last of 7 girls in her family and the only one to be born in Chicago. Her 6 older siblings were born in New Orleans, where her parents lived and where their ancestors have been for quite some time. They come from individuals who were free people of color, as well as some individuals who were enslaved prior to the Civil War.
I did want to ask, because I mentioned this kind of leading in before I brought you in, but what inspired you to want to know more about this in the first place?
Well, as you mentioned, genealogy and historical research is what I do on a daily basis. And being a practicing Catholic myself, I was just amazed by the fact that an American had been elected Pope. And there was sort of a natural curiosity about his background, especially because Pope Leo has spent most of his ministry outside of the United States, even though he is a native Chicagoan. Prevost intrigued me, being a French surname, and I honestly expected a very ordinary, French-Canadian background, maybe recent French immigrants to the United States. And sure enough, that's what has been discovered about his paternal side, that they are a combination of French and Sicilian immigrant background. But on his mother's side, I was simply floored to discover that they came from right here in my hometown of New Orleans.
How significant is this? What does this mean for Black and Creole Catholics as they learn this information and it starts to circulate around the country and really around the world?
For the Black Catholic community, which includes myself and my ancestors, easily going back 200 plus years here in South Louisiana, we are filled with pride that a gift of ours, if you will, to the church has become the pontiff. And I hope that it will highlight the contributions that Black Catholics have always made in this country and around the world. I'm hoping that it'll also bring attention to the 6 Black Catholic Americans whose causes for canonization, for sainthood, are open right now.
What are you hearing from people, and you kind of touched on this, but around New Orleans and other parts of Louisiana about the significance of this?
Here in Louisiana, we are fortunate to have the highest percentage of native-born citizens of any state in the Union. A little bit more than 80% of our people in Louisiana were born right here in this state. And so family, history, heritage are so important to us, and everybody is ecstatic. They're all searching their own genealogies, looking for connections to the Holy Father, and it has just spurred so much enthusiasm and interest. Everybody's gearing up for an eventual papal visit. It's been 38 years since St. John Paul II came to New Orleans, and we're long overdue and eagerly awaiting a papal visit.
Do you think this is going to lead folks to maybe look into the genealogy and background of some other religious figures, maybe previous popes and again, other religious figures that were very high profile?
I do think that that will be an effect of all of this. I think that both for high profile figures like the popes, government leaders, as well as individuals, lay people, they will have a renewed interest in their family backgrounds. And for those who are practicing Catholics, every Sunday they profess that there a belief in the communion of saints, that there is a spiritual bond between those who have gone on, those who are awaiting judgment, and those who are still here, the church militant on earth. And so there is, I think, a natural longing, inclination to want to discover more about those who came before us.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's a topic that making the rounds there over on social media. So we wanted to make sure to bring you on, and we appreciate your time. Anything else you want to add about this before I let you go?
I just am thrilled that New Orleans has this connection. So often people think of Boston or New York City when they think about, major American Catholic cities, but New Orleans actually is the second oldest diocese in this country after Baltimore. And so this will highlight our history as a place of fun and frivolity, and also a place of very, very deep faith.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to be here, Jari Honora. We appreciate your time and have a good rest of your day.